Welcome to Performance Live. I'm Jeff McGee, and our guest today is Bill Bartman. Bill Bartman is an entrepreneur, business executive, business leader, business builder. From Iowa, from street gangs to Golden Glove boxer to double secret law school, and just business extraordinaire. What we really want to dive in today with Bill Bartman is he has been the creator, innovator of two businesses that have went to the multi-billion-dollar mark, two businesses that went to the multi-million-dollar mark, and has really ridden that roller coaster up and down and up and down. So I would like to jump inside your mental DNA in terms of how does someone reinvent themselves in today's economy? What are you finding to be the secrets to reinvention success?
Well, Jeff, that's such a great question, and it's such an overlooked question, because see, most people, when they look to success, they wait until somebody gets to the top, and then they ask them, well, how did you do that? And usually their memory is pretty shallow. Usually it's, they remember what happened yesterday or the day before. What they fail to recollect is what happened a year earlier or 2 years earlier when they were in the bottom of that valley.
Bingo.
When the stuff was happening to them, whatever the stuff was, whether it's losing a job or getting divorced or having a medical calamity or whatever the trauma was that goes on in our lives, and respectively, whether it's in our business or in our personal affairs, things happen, and it's how you deal with the things that happen that set up the predicate to your own success. If you want to lay down here and whine and complain and blame somebody and point the finger, the odds are you're probably going to spend a lot of time down there. But instead, if you can say, okay, stuff happens, and
right,
just accept it and say, now what do I do with what I have left, whatever I have left? If I don't have a spouse, then I don't have a spouse. If I don't have a job, I don't have a job. If I don't have my health, I don't have my health. But what do I have left is what's important. And from there you reassess and say, with what I have left, what do I do? And from there you go again.
Powerful. Your name, your face, your content has graced the covers of every economic and business magazine over the past 20 years. Your name is attached to items at the Smithsonian. So those are some of the big things that could be the lore that grabs people. But if we back off of that, you've been up and you've been down. Let's talk about the down. I think that's where we learn the most.
Well, and I love talking about the down, and it sounds, kind of masochistic to want to talk about your failures. But I think that's where the greatest success comes from, and I think that's what people need to know and understand, that number one, fear isn't fatal. It just isn't fatal. We will all fail, no matter who we are, no matter where we're at. We will fail at something in our life, and it's how we deal with the failure that's going to determine our next success. So yeah, I am kind of the poster child for that old Chinese proverb of may you live in interesting times. I have lived in interesting times. I've been a millionaire 3 times, I've been bankrupt twice, been a billionaire once. Now that's a roller coaster ride that I don't encourage a lot of other people to take, because it's faster than Zingo. But at least when I've done it, I've been able to learn that there are the things that happen at the bottom.
Right.
Are the things that really set you up for your next success.
If you were coaching someone right now, whether it's an executive, whether it's a stay-at-home mom or dad, whether it's someone new entering the workplace, starting their own business, if you were put on the spot right now to give them 3 or 4 or 5 key nuggets of this is what I would coach you to do or not to do, what comes to mind?
Well, one thing. You don't even need 3 or 4. There's one thing. I've done it every single time. I teach it every single time. I think this is all you really need to do. You take a sheet of paper, you take a ballpoint pen, you draw a line down the center of it. On one side, you list all your failures. You list every time you've ever screwed up in your whole life, and as many as you can think of. And I know that sounds sickening when you say, gee, you got to make me go relive all those bad mistakes. Yeah, I want you to do that. And when you're all done, then I want you to come over to the other side of the paper and write down all the times you've succeeded at something. And compare those 2 lists, and you will see, if you're honest with yourself, and it's hard to be honest with your successes. Most of us can be really honest with our failures. We can admit we screwed up. But most of us are afraid to take credit when we've done something well or right. But if you take credit for them, list all your successes, you will see first, you've had more successes in life than you've had failures. Now that causes you to re-see yourself, maybe in a different light.
Correct.
Secondly, you take that same list, you look at all the failures and say, okay, all of those that I've listed, which ones have I overcome? Which ones have I surpassed? Which ones have I gotten over? And if you have, and you will have most of them, you cross them off the failure list and you reinsert them over on the success list. Because to survive a failure is success. And so then you look at your new list of here's Bill Bartman or here's Jeff McGee or whatever the person's name happens to be, and they look down and say, I've only got 2 or 3 things that I truly have failed at, and I've got hundreds of things I've succeeded at.
Love it.
My God.
Love it.
And when your internal view of you changes,
Success changes, accomplishments change. What's the one thing in 15 seconds, what are you doing next that you would measure as your next goal without necessarily getting too specific, but where are you going? Where do you see your business?
Well, mine is a spiritual-based proposition. I understand that we all have gifts, talents, and experiences in life, and we are to use them fully. My life has been extremely interesting, and I've had some great successes and some great failures. So my job now is to do exactly what I'm doing right here with you right now, telling people that failure is okay. Not because I want them to fail, not because I want to encourage them to screw up, but because when it is going to happen, and it will, I want them to know it's just a Kodak moment in their life. It's just a little snapshot that really happened, but it's not who they really are.
Excellent, fantastic. Again, this is Bill Bartman. You can find out more at BillBartman.com. I'm Jeff McGee. Thanks for watching Performance Live. Mr. Bartman, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff.